Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the Oakland A's. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Phew, it's over. The Dodger 10-game road trip finished. They split the 10, and they're clinging to first place with a half-a-game lead against the San Francisco Giants. Now, they face a team they don't normally see. That would be the American League's own Oakland Athletics. Couple of things about Oakland you might not know. Number one, they play a lot of tough games. 35% of their games have been decided by one run. How'd they come out? Not very well. Their record in one-run games, 10 wins, 24 losses. Another thing you ought to keep in mind when we get to the third inning, that's a critical part of the game for Oakland. If they are ahead after the third inning, their record is 22-10. However, if they're trailing at the end of 3 innings, their record is 5-24. A couple of more thoughts. With the end of 8 innings, if Oakland is leading, they've lost 5 times. And at the end of 8, if they're tied, they've lost 5 times. So Heartbreak City is just around the corner for the Oakland A's. Now let's get to the pitching. For Sonny Gray, the boy from Mississippi, from Oxford, Mississippi, he has a record of 6-0 on the road. His earned run average is 1.2, and for the year on the road, he is 7-1. And talking about one-run games, Brett Anderson, in his 19 starts, 10 of them have been decided by 1 run. We'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, Game 1 of a 5-game homestand. Game 1 of a brief 2-game series with Oakland. And then the weekend, the look forward to clash between the Dodgers and the Angels. For the Dodgers, under the heading of My How Time Flies, they have now played 100 games. If you want to compare, the Dodgers are 1 game better than they were last year. The Dodgers at this time 56-44. Last year at the 100 mark, they were 45-45. And for the Dodgers, they have 31 games left at home, including tonight, 31 games left on the road. For the visiting Oakland A's, and for Bob Melvin, who one time managed for Arizona, so he is certainly no stranger here. Billy Burns, the center fielder, leads it off. Marcus Semien, the shortstop. Brett Lowry at third. Billy Butler hits cleanup at first base. Jake Smolinski in left field. Josh Reddick in right. Josh Begley, the catcher. Eric Sogard at second base. And Sonny Gray on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Brett Anderson, and it's a pretty interesting story for Anderson with a record of 5-5. He was originally drafted by Arizona. He was traded to Oakland for Dan Harron in 2007. He made his major league debut for Oakland against Seattle in 2009, and then he was traded to Colorado for Drew Pomeranz. Pomeranz is still with Oakland. And for 5 years, just about, he was 26-29. And the first pitch, a shot into center field, that flattens Anderson for a base hit. While telling you about the leadoff man, Billy Burns, it is no surprise that he hit that first pitch. He swings at about 49% of the first pitch, and he hit a BB over the left shoulder of Anderson, drove him to the ground. So Billy Burns not only lives up to the rep, first ball hitter, and a very successful one. Now the Dodgers have to worry about him because he has stolen 20 bases. That would be second highest in the American League. So Billy Burns, a leadoff single, and what a shot that was. And Mark Semien, the shortstop, coming up. One of the problems for the Oakland A's in an area where fans rarely talk about it. First pitch very high, ball 1. They'll talk about pitching, wins and losses. They'll certainly talk about home runs and RBIs, and they will talk about base hits and batting average. But the least favorite subject amongst fans would be defense. And yet, when you explore that area, you can see the difference between these two teams. The next pitch is low, ball 2, 2-0 the count. Why are the Dodgers in first place? They have made 42 errors in 100 games. Why is Oakland in last place, 12 games back? They have made 87 errors. If you look on their infield, the shortstop, Mark Semien, is number 1 in errors, 28, and the third baseman, Brett Lowry, 19. So all of a sudden, that's 47 errors on the left side of the infield for Oakland, more than the Dodger team has made this year. So that's a glaring difference. Anderson delivers high and away. So that opening shot knocked him to the ground, and he walks Semien on 4 pitches. And the batter now, nobody out. Brett Lowry coming up. Talking about defense, we can take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. Gonzalez and Kendrick, Rollins, Callaspo, Ethier, Peterson, and Puig. Grandal behind the plate. Brett Anderson on the mound. So Brett Lowry, right-hand batter, checking in. Lowry has 19 infield hits, batting .275. So the infield has to be on its toes. He takes a breaking ball strike, and the count 0-1. So Brett Lowry, Lawrie, checking in at the plate. Oakland trying to get out in front here in the first inning. Strike 1 pitch on the way from Anderson, and that's taken on the outside corner at the knees. 0-2. Brett Lowry hitting just .224 over the last 25 games. So he's really been struggling, and he's in a hole now. No balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the left-hander. Anderson's pitch away, and a 1-2 count. Lowry had a fairly good series against the Giants. He was 3 of 12 up there. But in his last 25 games, just one home run. Anderson ready. Brett delivers. Swung on ground ball to Gonzalez. He goes down for one. No further play because Jimmy Rollins saw there was no play. He really had his eyes over at Burns in case he rounded third. So Lowry hits into a force play. 3-6 if you're scoring. And with one out, here's Billy Butler coming up. Billy Butler has grounded into 16 double plays so far this year, 5th highest in the American League. So the Dodgers look to him to get out of the inning. Butler on this road trip, 4 for 9 in the recent series in San Francisco. He's been a very successful pinch hitter, and the A's want to see him playing regularly now at first base. Anderson delivers. Slow breaking ball low. 1 ball and no strikes. No score. First inning. A leadoff single and a walk. Then Lowry hits into a force play. And here's Billy Butler. Right-hand batter waiting. Anderson comes back, and that's hit foul down the right field line. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For Anderson, pitching against Oakland, that's got to bring back some memories, looking at the uniform of Butler, remembering when he wore it. He was 26 and 29 in his career with Oakland. He was Rookie of the Month back in Oakland in September of 09. 1-1 pitch, a little roller foul up along third, and the count 1-2. In fact, Brett Anderson's rookie year with Oakland, he was 11 and 11. His last start here for the Dodgers, he went 7 innings against Milwaukee, gave up 2 home runs, but the Dodgers won the game 4-3. And the Dodgers are 10 and 9 in Brett's 19 starts. 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and foul tip. Though he's still alive at the plate is Billy Butler. Jake Smolinski on deck. So as Smolinski wakes, Butler trying to stay alive at the plate. Butler's from Orange Park, lives over in Scottsdale, and he was a first-round pick by the Royals back in 2004. 1-2 the count to Billy Butler. The 1-2 pitch instead, a throw to first. Butler built very well. He's 6'1" and a good 240. Billy originally drafted about 11 years ago, 29 years old, and fouls the next pitch away. Butler's father was an engineer who at one time was the manager of an international missile project. So I bet it was great for Billy to talk to his dad about what was going up in the air. He signed a letter to go to the University of Florida, but then turned pro and signed with the Royals. Next pitch is swung on, high fly ball, slicing foul, and back into the crowd. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Dodgers are half a game in front of the Giants. The Brewers are playing the Giants. Willie Peralta on the mound for Milwaukee, and Matt Cain due to work for the Giants. 1-2 the count to Billy Butler. Out of his stretch goes Anderson. Left-handed delivers, swung on, slow ground ball wide of third. Diaspo will make the play to first as a run scores. So Butler, who hits into so many double plays, didn't hit the ball hard enough to get to. Turns out to be a 5-3 putout. Lowry advancing to second base. Billy Burns brings in the run. So Oakland on the board, 1-0. We mentioned it earlier about the third inning. At the end of the third inning, how interesting it is whether the Oakland A's are ahead or behind. Here's the first pitch to Smolinski, and that's an off-speed pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Smolinski takes one on the hands, hits a ground ball to short. Rollins cranks it up to throw him out. So considering first and second and nobody out, the Dodgers got away cheaply enough. They give up one. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of half an inning, 1-0 Oakland. So we go to the bottom of the first inning as the Dodgers try to bounce right back. And here's Don Mattingly's lineup. No dramatic changes there. Jock Peterson will lead off in center field. Howie Kendrick at second base. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Yasiel Puig in right field. Andre Ethier in left. Alberto Callaspo at third. Jimmy Rollins at short. And Brett Anderson, the pitcher. On the mound for Oakland, his name is Sonny Gray. And the first thing about him, he's 5'11", 200-pounder out of Smyrna, Tennessee. He is 26 years old come November. A couple of nice stories about Sonny. He's from a little town, Smyrna, Tennessee, maybe a half hour southeast of Nashville, and a crowd of about 31,000 living there. The pitch to Jock Peterson in for a strike. And the count 0-1. Jock is struggling. The glove is keeping him in the lineup. He's hitting .230, 21 home runs, 43 runs batted in. The strike one pitch swung on and missed, 0-2. What's really got Peterson talking to himself, he's hitting .183 in the last 29 games. So they've gotten his average up to .252 and now trying to stay above .230. So no balls and 2 strikes. They count to young Jock. Gray looks down the barrel to get a sign from Fegley. And the strike 2 pitch chased and missed. So Peterson strikes out and we have one away. That glove gets bigger and bigger. The Dodgers really would miss his glove in center, but his bat is really quiet. We'll take a look at Oakland. Butler, Sogard, Semien, and Lowry on the infield. Smolinski, Burns, and Reddick in the outfield, with Fegley behind the plate handling Sonny Gray. Some notes, baseball notes, as Howie Kendrick checks in, and we'll duck him in as far as Sonny Gray is concerned. He's won 10 ball games. There's a hopper to the right side. Nice pick by Sogard, and that takes care of Kendrick. 2 down in the first inning, and Adrian Gonzalez coming up. When Gray starts, and of course this is a very important note, when Gray starts, his team wins. He has 12 victories, the team has, in his 20 starts, and the bullpen has given up 4 games, and he might have won. He left as a winner, and the bullpen gave up enough to either have the game tied or the opposition take the lead. 75% of his starts are at least 6 innings with 3 earned runs or less. In other words, 75% are quality starts. So Sonny Gray working now with 2 down. Gonzalez at the plate. Right-hander ready and delivers, and the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Adrian, 21 home runs, has 107 hits, 60 runs batted in. Strike one pitch on the way. Gray comes back, and it's fouled away, and the count 0-2. Well, no balls and 2 strikes, the count to Adrian Gonzalez. 2 down, first inning. Oakland leading the Dodgers 1-0. One thing the Dodgers know, Gray pretty stingy as far as walks. Foul ball again off third. In 11 of his starts this year, he has walked 1 or none. Pitches very well against clubs with a record above 500, 14-9. Dodgers have a little bit of a break. 34 of their remaining games are against teams under 500. Here's the strike 2 pitch on the way. Adrian fouls that one away, and the count 0-2. Gray is better in the daytime than at night. Sonny is 5-1 in the daytime, so he's aptly named. 5-3 at night. If he gets 3 runs, and Oakland is not a big run scoring team, but if he gets 3, he'll usually win. The strike 2 pitch is fouled away, though it's still 0-2. Those who know Oakland well, those who know Sonny Gray well, say that if you watched him, you would not be impressed at all as far as the computer is concerned. His record in the minor leagues, 17 wins, 17 losses, and an earned run average 3.6. In the majors, 29-17. So the tougher the opposition, the better he gets. Strike 2 pitch swung on, ground ball to the right side on the grass is Sogard to throw him out. Nice play by the second baseman, and down go the Dodgers. So at the end of an inning, Oakland 1 and the Dodgers 0. Last Tuesday, the third inning, Anderson pitching against Atlanta, and a ball that was hit to the left of the mound. He went after it, seemed to hobble when he left the mound, and he kicked the ball, chased it all the way over to the Dodger dugout, and the next thing you know, he just could not continue. The Achilles tendon was irritated. However, when he left the game, the first report was it looked favorable, and here he is without missing a turn, right back on the lineup. So we'll see how he goes tonight. That's certainly on everybody's mound as he faces Josh Reddick and the left-hand hitting outfielder takes one off the plate. So Reddick trying to get something started. Oakland leads 1-0. Josh takes one in there, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Anderson facing a guy who's got a lot of RBIs with 2 outs. Pitch in the dirt. 33 RBIs with 2 outs. So he's missed a clutch, even though the other numbers aren't particularly good. He's apparently very good at coming up in that tough spot and delivering. Reddick now promptly hits one into the gap. A diving try by Josh Peterson. The ball gets away, picked up by Puig, but he gets into second base too late. Peterson on his knees out there, slowly gets up. So near and yet so far. So Reddick unloads to the gap in right center, and with nobody out, Fegley, Sogard, and Gray trying to pick him up. The glove actually caught the ball in the fingertips. The fingers are not up there, so there's no substance to the fingertips. And Josh got his glove on it, and that's the best you can say. It hit the pocket of the glove and then spun out as he rolled over hard on his right shoulder. So Reddick, a double into right center field. Good try, but no cigar for Jock Peterson. And the batter now, Josh Fegley. By the way, Gerardo Parra and Carlos Gomez doubled for a run. Then Gomez scored on an Adam Lind single, and the Brewers are leading the Giants 2-0 in the first inning against Matt Cain. Off-speed pitch for a strike to Josh Fegley. Fegley, the catcher, with Eric Sogard hitting behind him. Fegley 1 for 4 in the Giants series. Doing pretty well in the 6 games following the All-Star break. He takes high and away. 1-ball, 1-strike. He's got 5 RBIs in the 6 games. Bill Fegley waiting on a 1-ball, 1-count pitch. The pitch, a ground ball to short. Jimmy Rollins picks it up, drops it, and recovers to throw him out. And of all the position players on the field, of course, he could have afford to drop the ground ball and still get the catch. So with the ball hit ahead of him, Reddick had nowhere to go. Rollins, the veteran, unhurried, knew who the hitter was, knew he couldn't run that well, and calmly threw him out. So 1 away, and Eric Sogard coming up. So Rollins gets his man, and Sogard checking in at the plate. He takes the first one in for a strike. 0-1. Sogard in his last 20 games hitting just .217. Best part of his game has been his glove. Made a couple of good plays in the first inning. Takes off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sogard has a 44-game errorless streak. He hasn't made an error since the 8th of May. Made a very nice play to throw out Gonzalez in the first inning. Did go 1 for 5 against the Giants. 1 ball and 1 strike. Anderson out of a stretch, left-handed delivers, and it's fouled away. 1-2 the count to Sogard. Eric Sogard trying to pick up a man from second base. He's from Phoenix, and he wears eyeglasses, which is a little different in this day and age. The next pitch, Tapper up the middle, going behind the bag, backhanding, and it's Kendrick to make the play. And on the ground ball up the middle, Reddick takes third. So Sogard, little ground ball. 2 down, runner at third. Oakland scored a run in the first inning and left a man aboard. And now Sonny Gray coming up. As an American League pitcher, Sonny Gray doesn't get much of a chance to swing the bat. In fact, he does not have an at-bat. Swings, doesn't get the first pitch, and the count 0-1. So Gray's been in 20 games, but this is his first plate appearances. Down the line comes Reddick. 1-0 Oakland, top of the second inning. Anderson has 3 wild pitches. As we always look up with a runner at third, gets one on the outside corner, and the count 0-2. Young umpire behind the plate. Interesting with him, Adam Hamari. Hamari, the rookie umpire, during spring training threw Bob Melvin out of a game. Meanwhile, Gray swings and misses, strike 3, and that's that. So they waste a double by Reddick, and at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 Oakland. In attendance Sunday at 1:10. Dodgers and Angels. Receive your very own Dodger cap presented by Security Benefit. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. We were talking at the start of the game about Oakland, the fact that 35% of their games are decided by 1 run. Their record is 10-24. The 1916 Oakland Ball Club in 1-run games were 11-32. Philadelphia had a record of 13-29, though for Bob Melvin, exercising a great deal of patience as the Oakland A's scramble to try some runs, and at least for the moment, they're leading 1-0. Grandal at the plate takes a look at an off-speed pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Grandal hitting a solid .281, 14 home runs, 37 runs batted in, and hitting almost .340 for the month. Swings, fouls it away, and the count 0-2. So Grandal facing Sonny Gray. As far as Gray is concerned, about 29% of the batters strike out against him, 41% hit ground ball. The next pitch in the dirt, and the count 1-2. Only 8% of the opposing hitters have hit line drives, but he's basically a ground ball pitcher, which is one reason why he's given up 20 infield hits. He has to be careful with a runner at third. He has 9 wild pitches. He's in the dirt, and the count 2-2. Sonny Gray out of Smyrna, Tennessee, had a great relationship with his father, and there's a story there. The pitch to Grandal, strike 3 called on the inside corner, and down he goes. Second strikeout for Gray, and the batter will be Yasiel Puig. Fastball got the inside corner, down goes Grandal, 1 out, and Puig coming up. Sonny Gray's father's name was Jesse. when Sonny was 4 years old, he was playing with 5- and 6-year-olds. Puig checks in, hitting .253. So by the time Gray was 5, he was involved in a lot of club baseball. Puig taps one to second and is thrown out easily. And we have 2 down in the second inning. Sonny has 2 sisters, and his dad, almost every day, his father had 2 jobs. And he would write notes to the children before going to work. And the last note that Sonny Gray got was the morning his father was killed in an automobile accident on the second job. That night, believe it or not, he was the quarterback for the high school football team, and his mom, now a widow, and 2 daughters, they went to the game, and he led his team to a state championship as the quarterback. And as he summed it all up that night, Dad would have wanted me to do it. The pitch is in for a strike. 0-1 to Andre Ethier. But we can't look under the bill of Sonny Gray's hat. But if we could, we'd see the lettering D-A-D. 2 down, second inning, 1-0 Oakland. Right-handed comes back 0-1. Ethier hits a little ground ball to first base. Picking it up as Butler steps on the bag, and a very easy inning in the second inning. Remember the numbers that we told you. If Oakland is leading after 3 innings, their record is 22-10. If they're losing after 3, 5-24. Well, they're leading at the end of 2. Lead it off. Remember, he hits that first pitch about 49% of the time. Almost took Anderson's head off. Swing, sure enough, chops it this time to Castro, and Alberto throws him out. So Burns 1 for 2 on 2 pitches, and we have 1 out in the third inning.
Number 10,
that'll bring up Mark Semien. Shortstop walked in the first inning. His first name Marcus, but they all call him Mark. He was born in San Francisco, lives up at El Cerritos, and went to the University of California, Berkeley. He was a 6th round pick by the White Sox in 2011, and he takes a strike. If you are a Cal football fan, you might remember his dad, Damian Semien, who was a wide receiver for the Bears. He takes one at his feet, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Oakland A's sent Jeff Samardzija to the White Sox so they could acquire Semien. Samardzija pitching tonight for the Sox against the Red Sox. And the pitch low, ball 2, 2-1. 1 out, third inning, 1-0 favor of Oakland. Off speed pitch hit in the air to right. Puig has to go back and get it. Reaches up and makes the play. So the ball hit over his head, and those great reactions of Yasiel turning, racing back, and literally spearing the ball with the gloved arm fully extended. Nice play as he looks back over his left shoulder, and then that left arm just reaches up and plucks it out of the sky. 2 down in the third inning. 5 in a row retired by Anderson, and he gets ball 1 to Brett Lowry. Lowry, as we mentioned, has 19 infield hits this year. He takes off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. And the next pitch low, ball 3. 3-0 the count. Lowry's from Canada, actually from British Columbia. Takes a strike, but he lives now in Peoria, Arizona. The Brewers made him a first-round pick, but they drafted him as a catcher, and he's a third baseman. Lowry slices it foul out of play. Committed to the University of Arizona on a baseball scholarship. They say that at 6 feet he can dunk a basketball. His oldest sister was a great softball pitcher. She pitched on the Canadian Olympic team. Little ground foul, so Lowry's still there. 3-2. Originally first-round pick by the Brewers, came up to the Blue Jays, and came over to the A's this year. 3-2 the count. Lowry open stance, fouls it back, and Brett's still there. The day after Lowry signed with the Brewers, he left for Beijing to play for the Canadian Olympic baseball team. Not only was he in the Olympics, his sister was pitching. 3-2 pitch on the way, swung on, hit in the air down the right field line, slicing in the corner, going foul into the stands. So Brett Lowry back up, 3-2 the count. Lowry signed just 7 years ago. Now the 3-2 pitch on the way, swung on, lifted to center, pretty deep, but it's playable. Peterson backs up, makes the catch. So that's 6 in a row retired by Brett Anderson since Reddick doubled. And at the end of 2.5 innings, 1-0 Oakland. of Oakland. They had a leadoff single and a walk, and on a couple of ground balls, the run came home. A beautiful evening, 75 degrees, a lovely summer's night. Sonny Gray ready, in the first pitch to Callaspo's low, ball one, 1-0. Callaspo playing for Justin Turner, who could use a day off. Callaspo hitting .228, hitting .256 since wearing the blue uniform. A chopper to Sogard. Eric is on it to make the play. That's 7 in a row retired by Sonny Gray. Well, this is one of the busy days in trades. The Royals got Ben Zobrist, the first baseman from the A's. The Mets acquired Tyler Clippard, the pitcher from the A's today. The Nationals got Jonathan Papelbon from Philadelphia. And the Blue Jays acquired Troy Tulowitzki from the Rockies. And Jose Reyes, who broke in with the New York Mets, went from the Blue Jays to the Rockies. Of course, as you probably know, the trading deadline is Friday, and I believe it's 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. So we have one away. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Sonny Gray ready, over the top, fastball for a strike, and the count 0-1. Sonny Gray remarkable as Rollins checks in. Rollins facing a pitcher who, after making only 10 starts, became just the third big league pitcher ever to strike out 9 without allowing an earned run in a postseason game. He was involved in a great 1-0 shutout of Detroit. Again, as a rookie in 2013. Two others who did it, Dave Righetti in 1981, Mike Boddicker 1983. Sonny Gray. 1-1 pitch on the way. Off speed, looked like a change, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Sonny was a first-round pick by the A's out of Vanderbilt. Meanwhile, Rollins lifts one foul, no play. That'll go back into the stands. So Jimmy with 11 home runs facing Sonny Gray. Gray went to school at Vanderbilt University. There have been 32 big leaguers coming out of Vanderbilt. People like Rip Sewell, David Price, Joey Cora, Mark Pryor, Scott Sanderson, just a couple. Breaking ball is popped up on the left side. Brett Lowry is there waiting, makes the catch, and we have 2 down in the 3rd inning. So it is going to be very interesting now to see if that stat holds up. Remember, we told you if Oakland leads at the end of 3 innings, they're 22-10. If they're losing at the end of 3, they've won only 5 games. Well, they're leading 1-0 in the 3rd. And here's Brett Anderson. Sonny Gray delivers away with a fastball, ball 1. 1-0. The only run, first inning, Burns hit the first pitch for a base hit. Semien walked, and a couple of ground balls got Burns home. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Brett Anderson. 2 out, 3rd inning, 1-0 Oakland. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Poke foul off third down the line, 1-2. The Oakland A's, once upon a time owned by a rather electric figure by the name of Charlie Finley. While Finley managed Oakland, he had 2 managers, 27 coaches, 5 scouting directors, 7 farm directors, 8 publicity directors, and 16 broadcasters. And there is strike 3 to Brett Anderson. So at the end of 3, we'll see if it stands up. Oakland 1 and the Dodgers 0. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the 2015 Jeep Cherokee. With an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG, it's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. Fourth inning. Yes, we have a winner. In fact, we have two winners. That's not counting Mom and Dad. Twins. We talk so much about double plays as twins, but there's the real thing. How marvelous. And I guess they're different. Maybe. No, it looks like they're exactly the same when it comes to the juice. Oh, wow. That's a real selfie. Meanwhile, out on the field, although we hate to leave them, here come the big boys. Billy Butler and then Jake Smolinski and Josh Reddick. And ball one. Little ground ball to short. Jimmy Rollins has it. Though that didn't take long. One out here in the fourth inning.
Number 5.
And the batter, Jake Smolinski. The Oakland A's were a very, very successful organization. They were second in 1969 and 70. They won their first division crown in 71. That's when they had people like Vida Blue, Catfish Hunter, and Reggie Jackson, who hit 32 home runs. But they were swept by the Orioles in the league championship series. They won their second division by 5.5 games over the White Sox. Finally, in 1973, they won the division. They went on to defeat the Mets in a 7-game World Series. And then immediately after winning, their manager, Dick Williams, a former Dodger outfielder, resigned. He'd had enough. 1-1 pitch, ground ball to Howie. Kendrick makes the play. So after 2 long fly balls in the third inning, which is unlike Anderson,
22.
He's back to getting ground balls. And Josh Reddick coming up. 1974. That's when Oakland had its 4th straight division title. Catfish Hunter won 25 games. They beat the Orioles, and then they beat the Dodgers in the World Series. One of the 5 World Series games decided by 1 run, as Raleigh Fingers had 3 saves and a win. In that series, Ray, well, here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Don Sutton gave up a big home run to an Oakland broadcaster, Ray Fosse. That's a foul ball. Fosse is here tonight broadcasting. He hit a big dinger. There he is. He hit that 3-run home run against Don Sutton. Fosse's name was always linked, of course, to an all-star game. Pete Rose, a good friend of Ray, had spent the night at Ray's home, had dinner with Ray's family. Then they played against on the all-star game, and Rose almost killed Fosse in a collision at home plate. Nice guest. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count, 2 down, 4th inning. 1-0 Oakland. Off speed, slapped into left field for a base hit. Nice bit of hitting there for Josh Reddick to go with the pitch and take it the other way. So Reddick doubled off the fingertips of Josh Peterson. Now singles to left. So Reddick is 2 for 2. 1 run, 3 hits for Oakland. Josh Fegley checking in. A look, and it's off the plate. Ball 1. Fegley from Terre Haute, Indiana, signed as a White Sox first-round pick. Went to school at the University of Indiana. 5'10", 215, 27 years old. We'll watch Reddick. The A's don't steal a lot. They have a total of 5 let's see, 5 men who do the running. Total of 56 bases, but Burns does the running. He's stolen 20. So Phegley fouling it off, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Josh back up. 1-0 Oakland. 2 out. 4th inning. Josh Reddick at first base. That's in there for a strike. 1-2. Reddick has stolen 3 out of 4, but Phegley is hitting 7th in the lineup. So I don't know if they want to risk running him, and if he's thrown out, they start the next inning at the bottom of the heap. 1-2 the count. Breaking ball pulled to third. Callaspo down to second. Get the force play, and that's that. So for Anderson, back on his game, 3 ground balls, no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 3.5 innings, 1-0 Oakland. Fireworks come out this Friday night. Take your place on the field for a fireworks show featuring music from the 1980s. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Boy, we are all looking forward to the weekend, not for just fireworks, a chance to take a look at 2 of the great players in the American League, Albert Pujols and Mike Trout. The Angels will be here Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Hope you make your plans to be with us. Meanwhile, 1-0 favor of Oakland, bottom of the 4th inning. Remember, they are 22-10 if they're leading after 3. So here's Jock Peterson, struck out in the 1st inning and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Peterson going through the first-year blues, trying to adjust. The pitchers have already made adjustments to him. I think for Josh, he feels like he inherits a no-ball, 2-strike count. He has struck out 120 times. 0-2. Big day in Nashville, Tennessee today, honoring one of the really wonderful players the Dodgers have ever had in their long, tremendous years. And we're talking about number 19, Jim Gilliam. Dodgers second baseman, also dazzled at third. Play a little outfield if you need be. Foul back. Walter Alston made, I think, as good a critique of a ball player's worth when he was talking about Jim Gilliam. He said simply, Jim Gilliam never made a mistake. Oh yeah, he made errors, but he never made a mistake. He never forgot how many outs there were. He never forgot who was playing and where to play against him. He never forgot what base to throw to. Meanwhile, there's a lot to forget for Jock Peterson as he strikes out again. So 1 out in the 4th, 4 strikeouts for young Sonny Gray and the batter Howie Kendrick. And not only was Jim Gilliam really a solid baseball player, he was a terrific, soft-spoken human being who in St. Louis, and I'll never forget that night, he got married on the way to the ballpark. He really did. We were on the team bus. We went to someone's home in St. Louis. Jim and his bride, he was married. I remember we were watching him, seeing just how long his patience would hold up with the photographer. You know, at a wedding, the photographer takes a lot of pictures. And Jim all of a sudden said, "1 more." Everybody was shocked. 1 more, and he was on the bus going to the ballpark. Jim Gilliam. He was wonderful. Meanwhile, another solid, quiet second baseman, Howie Kendrick, 0 for 1. 1 run, 3 hits for Oakland. No runs, no hits for the Dodgers in the 4th. 2-1 to count. Well, we heard all about Sonny Gray, and he has certainly been impressive. Admittedly, however, he's only worked 3 1/3 innings, but so far so good. Ground ball to short. Nice pick there by Semien. So 2 down. That's 11 in a row retired by Sonny Gray.
Number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
We talked about Sonny being a first-round pick back in 2011. There were some pretty good triffers in those days. Jose Fernandez, Jarrett Cole, Trevor Bauer, Archie Bradley, Jose Fernandez of the Marlins. A lot of good ones came up, and he's one of the top right-handers from that draft. And ball 1 to Adrian Gonzalez. That's in there. To just conclude the thought about Jim Gilliam, the Nashville Sounds will unveil a name change for First Tennessee Park's address. It'll be now 19 Junior Gilliam Way. A drive to right, hooking down in the corner, in there. Fair ball. Gonzalez on his way for 2 and breaks up a possible no-hitter with a 2-out double to right field. So Adrian is struck out. Actually, he was robbed of a hit in the first inning. Nice play by Sogard. This time hooks one in the corner. Fair by 2 feet at least. An easy double for Gonzalez. 26 doubles. So the Dodgers have the tying run with 2 out at second base. And here's Yasmani Grandal, struck out in the second inning. And on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. A's 1, Dodgers nothing. Bottom of the 4th, 2 out. Gonzalez, cautious lead out there at second. Off speed breaking ball in there nicely. 0-2 the count. Gray has a pretty good 2-seam fastball. He has a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. And the slider does a lot of damage. 0-2. That might have been one right there. 1-2 the count. So the slider is a great weapon. It also does a high wire act as far as wild pitches. One big reason why Sonny has made 9 wild pitches. But that pitch is explosive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And down goes Grandal, chasing that one. I think he thought he fouled it into the dirt, and the plate umpire says no. So for the second time Grandal strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. No runs, a hit, a man left. And at the end of 4, 1-0 Oakland. Their reactions now that they're on camera. Interesting study. Meanwhile, we go to the 5th inning. Eric Sogard will start it off. Sogard, Gray, and then Billy Burns. Eric Sogard, we mentioned earlier, wears glasses. Back in 2014, Sogard did a nice thing. There were 56 children of Franklin Elementary School in Oakland got free eyeglasses with assistance from baseball's most famous eyeglass wearer, Eric Sogard of Oakland. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sogard, wearing those glasses, that spawned what they call a nerd power up at Oakland Coliseum. And they gave out the new spectacles, told the kids how wearing glasses changed his life. Took the sting out of it because some kids think it's a sign of weakness, and of course it's not. So a lot of kids profited, and he's been famous up there for that. So 1 away, and here's Sonny Gray. Struck out in the 2nd inning, pitching a 1-hitter through 4 innings. Oakland leading 1-0. One ball and 1 strike. At third base, Mike Gallego. He's a local boy, and there's a little story to Mike's presence. Gallego was born in Whittier, went to school. He was a star at UCLA. Well, Gallego's sister is the mother of the Dodger backup catcher, Austin Barnes. Yeah, so that's Uncle Mike over there, and his nephew, Austin Barnes of the Dodgers. Over at first, a fellow was born in Fresno, now makes his home in San Diego, Ty Waller. We have 2 down here in the 5th inning, and Billy Burns coming up. Jerry Turner, who does an incredible job running the visiting clubhouse, was thoughtful enough to send up the information that Mike Gallego, the uncle of Dodger catcher Austin Barnes. Mike, a terrific baseball man, been with Oakland a long time, very valuable to them. 1-1 to Billy Burns. Before we could tell you that he swings at the first pitch 48% of the time, he almost took Brett Anderson's head off on the first pitch. That began the game. Then in the third inning he came up, swung at the first pitch, grounded to third. So he was 1 for 2 on 2 pitches. Billy Burns, 2 home runs. Speed is his game. 20 stolen bases. Check. He didn't. Burns in the minor leagues stole as many as 54 and 51. So he can run. He's only 5'9", about 180. Fouled away. He's from Marietta, Georgia. Went to Mercer College and was originally selected by the Nationals. Young fella, he's 26 years old, the end of August. By the way, they're in the 4th inning up north, and the Brewers are leading the Giants and Matt Cain 4-0. That's Willie Peralta pitching that game for Milwaukee. 2-2. Fouled away. Burns has only struck out 43 times. He's had about 325 plate appearances. Gets a piece of it, lifts it to right center. Peterson looking at Puig. They look at each other, and Peterson makes a catch. Now, Peterson normally is in charge, but for some reason, he looked over at Puig, and Puig was not expecting it. So then Peterson had to go back and make the catch. It takes a lot of teamwork out there. And at the end of 4.5, 1-0 Oakland. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Now, during Toyota's summer savings, you can save big on any 2015 Camry. 1-0 in favor of Oakland. Bottom of the 5th inning, Yasiel Puig, Andre Ethier, and then Alberto Callaspo. Puig grounded out in the 2nd inning. Gray, remember, started the game retiring 11 in a row. Chopper to short, good pick by Semien. Tag at first, the throw pulling Butler off the bag, and 1 pitch, 1 away. So Puig, that came in batting only .253 and goes 0 for 2.
Number 16, Andre Ethier.
Andre Ethier grounded out in the second inning. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Oakland. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Dodgers. Remember, we told you about 35% of Oakland's games are decided by 1 run. And ball 1 to Andre, hitting .275. He has 10 home runs, 33 runs batted in. And ball 2. The last time that Sonny Gray pitched was the 22nd of July against Toronto. So the 22nd, this is the 28th. So really, he's pitching on just about 6 days rest. Foul ball. Reason we bring that up, Gray on 4 days rest is 7-2 and an earned run average of 1.7. On 5 days rest, his earned run average is over 4. Two and 1. Off speed for ball 3. That's the first 3-ball count that Gray has had. He's had only 4 2-ball counts, so he's been right on the plate. He has struck out 5, no walks. And there's the walk. So the first 3-ball count, and now the first walk. A reminder, Monday, join Alano Rizzo and Don Mattingly. They'll bring you an inside look at the best moments of the week on and off the field. So don't miss Dodger Clubhouse. That'll be Monday at 7 on Sportsnet LA. All right, tying run aboard with 1 out. Alberto Callaspo grounded out in the 3rd inning. 0 for 1. Callaspo had 1 at bat and walked when he was in the American League against Sonny Gray. Dodgers playing game number 101. Somebody in the Dodger dugout lets out a holler on that called strike. No balls, 1 strike. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike to Callaspo. Jimmy Rollins on deck. It's not that they're expecting Ethier to be trying to steal a base. He's stolen 1. He's been caught 1. On a 1-1 count, the Dodgers are thinking about hit and run. And so are the Oakland A's. A.J. Ellis over there with Mark McGwire and Don Mattingly. 1-1. Ethier goes. Hit and run missed at the plate. And Andre is out from me to you. Whoa. So the Dodgers, sure enough, both teams thinking hit and run. Callaspo swings and misses, and Ethier is hung out to dry. 2-6. Fegley down to Semien. Ethier was out by about, 15 feet at least. Semien had to wait for him to get there. So 2 down. Callaspo with a 1-2 count. Fast one just below the knees. We talked about Smyrna, Tennessee. Population about 31,000. Not too far from Nashville. It's also famous not only for Sonny Gray. High fly ball to right field. Reddick to the track at the wall. Makes the catch. So Callaspo a long out. We'll talk more about Smyrna later on. And at the end of 5, 1-0 Oakland. Presidente. That was 36-year-old Dennis Martinez of Nicaragua, and he beat the Dodgers 2-0 before 45,000. What he really did was pitch a no-hitter, and it was a perfect game. It was the 15th perfect game in Major League history, and at the time was the first opposing pitcher's no-hitter in the 30 years of Dodger Stadium, which opened in 1962. What was his reaction to the perfect game? He cried. We'll tell you more about it. Let's go back to this one. 1-0 in favor of Oakland, 6th inning. Strike one, pitch to Semien, line drive, base hit. Yeah, Dennis Martinez was not jumping in the air. His teammates were not jumping all over him or pouring Gatorade or ice water on him. Dennis Martinez walked to the dugout, and I will never forget, we put the camera in there thinking we were going to see so much joy. And instead, here was this 36-year-old veteran pitcher, and we knew his background. He had battles with alcohol and other problems. And he just sat there all by himself in the near corner of the dugout and just sobbed his heart out. It was a remarkable moment. 1991. Wow. Brett Lowry hit into a force play fly deep to center, 0 for 2. Semien over there at first. Shortstop has stolen 9 out of 12, though Anderson's going to have to watch him, and does indeed. Anderson is due to bat second when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. Off the plate. Anderson with a record of 5-5, formerly a member of the A's. Now back to conclude the thought about Smyrna, Tennessee, where Sonny Gray is from. Stewart Air Force Base was established in Smyrna, served as an advanced training facility for the B-17 Flying Fortress and the B-24. Oh, we might have some folks who even trained there. Nice pick by Grandal. Better hurry. Just got him. So Lowry days down a good one. Semien advances to second, and Billy Butler 0 for 2 on ground balls coming up. Take another look. Just seemed a swinging bunt, just topped it, and Grandal making a nice play because he runs very well, does Lowry. So a runner at second with one out. Billy Butler trying to pick him up. Fastball fouled away, hit late. Butler a little annoyed, as if he feels that was a pitch he might have done something wonderful with, but he was late on it. By moving Semien to second base, it also takes away the possibility of that ground ball double play. And remember, Billy Butler has grounded into 16 double plays. One and one. And a fly ball to left field. Ethier makes the catch. Holding at second base is Semien, and the batter will be Jake Smolinski.
Number 5, Jake Smolinski.
Smolinski grounded to short, grounded to second. Anderson, as usual, keeping the ball on the ground. He's allowed 1, 2, 3, 4 fly balls, and there to third base goes Semien, and he steals it. Might have gotten a little leg burn sliding into the bag right there. If you've ever slid, if you've ever played baseball, I mean, it burns. They call them strawberries, raspberries, whatever you want, but it takes the skin off your hide. All right, so Semien does what he does very well. He has stolen 10 out of 13, and a big steal at third. Now, if he had stolen third with Butler up there, he would have been home on the fly ball. I think Mattingly is talking to the umpires, and it looks like he wants that call looked at again. So we'll wait and see. Take another look. The throw a little high. The left foot is curled under, and the right foot may or may not have grazed the bag coming over. And then he comes off the bag as the tag is made. So I would say now that's going to be a doubtful stolen base. It looks like he might be called out. So Jake Smolinski may or may not have stolen third base. And he's out. Yep. The 1 foot went right over the bag and continued, and at that specific moment he was not on the bag. So it's a good call. He's out trying to steal third. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. The end of 5 1/2, 1-0 Oaks. of the sixth inning, and a reminder, be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance tomorrow night and receive a Yasiel Puig bobblehead presented by Jack in the Box. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Big play for the Dodgers to nail Semien, trying to steal third. Now in the bottom of the sixth, Dodgers still looking for a run. It'll be Rollins, Anderson, and Peterson. Right. Oh, and 1. Sonny Gray, as good as we heard he was. Not a big man, not for big league pitchers. Starters are usually 6'2", 6'3". He's 5'11". The big pitch for him, that hard slider that usually winds up almost in the dirt. Up here it looks like it has the reaction of a splitter. One ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. The only run in the first inning. Billy Burns hit the very first pitch, almost took the head off Brett Anderson. Base hit to center. Semien walked. Lowry hit into a force play, sending Burns to third. Butler's ground ball scored him. Fly ball to right field. Waiting for it is Reddick. The closest the Dodgers have come to scoring a run would be the ball hit by Callaspo after Ethier was exposed on a busted hit and run play. Callaspo swung and missed. Ethier was tagged out, and then Callaspo sent Reddick, the right fielder, all the way to the wall to haul down his long fly ball. Oh, and 1 to Brett Anderson. Anderson has had 28 at bats, and he has struck out 22 of the 28 times. He does have 2 hits, including a double, and he has 3 runs batted in. He has 6 sacrifices. And the old story, I always wonder why, if you are good at sacrificing, why don't you ever try to bunt for a base hit? And no, they're all up there swinging like Babe Ruth. 2 down. What's ahead for the Dodgers? Well, another tough ball game tomorrow night with Oakland. Thursday, an off day, so everybody will be well rested for what should be a great series. 3 with the Angels. And remember, it's Friday night, then it's Saturday afternoon at 1, and Sunday afternoon as well. Well, here's Jock Peterson. 6 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. He has struck out Peterson twice. Tomorrow night, it's Jesse Chavez and Clayton Kershaw. 0-1. Shows bunt, strike 2. Jock Peterson from Palo Alto. Bob Melvin, the manager of Oakland, was born in Palo Alto, and Bob lives in Berkeley. Sometime during this series, maybe tonight, we got to tell you about Bob Melvin, the home run contest, and sweet potatoes. But not now. 0-2. 1-2. Jock hitting .229, 21 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Well, for Peterson, a picture of unhappiness. He strikes out for the third time. 7 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. And at the end of 6, 1-0 Oakland. Brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Choose Nissan.com. And by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. 1-0 in favor of Oakland. Yes, indeed, young man. Are we happy that you're here? Yeah, that's given us 5. Faces in the crowd. Check swing strike to Jake Smolinski, then Josh Reddick and Josh Phegley. Smolinski certainly struggling, hitting just .195. 1-1. Jake lives in Rockford, Illinois. He was a second-round pick of the Nationals back in 2007. 1-2. He committed to a baseball scholarship to Clemson University, but he wound up signing with the Nationals. 5'11", 190, 26 years old. The A's claimed him off waivers after he had signed with the Rangers. Callaspo takes care of him. 1 away. Okay, I'll tell you quick about Bob Melvin. It was the American Legion tournament in Yountville many years ago. The tournament had a sponsor, Sweet Potato Joe, and he would give 50 pounds of vegetables, meaning potatoes, sweet potatoes, and 2 liters of soda to a player who hit a home run. Melvin hit 7 home runs in the tournament. They wound up delivering 350 pounds of sweet potatoes to his house and a bunch of club soda. Wisely, Melvin donated to the charity and to the church. Puig to the wall, gone. That's a sweet potato for Josh Reddick and for Bob Melvin, and a sour pickle for Brett Anderson. For Anderson, that would be the 10th home run that he has given up. For Josh Reddick to come around and touch them all, his 13th. So it's a big run, and the A's take a 2-0 lead. So Reddick is having a big night. 3 hits, including the home run. He had a double in the second inning, but they left him at third. Ground ball. Rollins. So Fegley, 3 ground balls, but Reddick right now leading 2-0.
28. Eric Sogard.
Eric Sogard twice has grounded the ball to Howie Kendrick. In the Dodger bullpen, Pedro Baez begins to warm up. One of the big surprises, MLB's Network 2014. They had a contest. They asked fans to vote the face of Major League Baseball competition. It was a Twitter-driven bracket-style tournament. And of all the people, Eric Sogard was the face of Major League Baseball. All right. Also a comebacker. Nice play by Anderson, but it's Reddick's moment. And at the end of 6.5 innings, 2-0 Oakland.
Your photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
2-0 in favor of Oakland. Bottom of the 7th inning. Howie Kendrick, Adrian Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal. Anderson has gotten 14 ground balls, but he has given up 2 runs. Gray has allowed just 1 hit. A double by Adrian Gonzalez with 2 out in the 4th inning. Foul ball, 0-1. As we've done this year especially, we look at a starting pitcher and see the batting average against him, and we bracket pitches. For instance, Gray this year, from his first 15 pitches, the opposition is hitting 194. 1-1. Well, right now, as he has moved along 69 pitches, from 61 to 75 pitches, the league is hitting 158. And there's a base hit to right field. So the Dodgers have 2 hits. Kendrick a base hit, and the double by Adrian Gonzalez. So Adrian 1 for 2, hitting .299. Interesting, the roughest area for Gray this year is already behind him. From pitches 46 to 60, the league was hitting .265. Of course, I say league, I mean the American League, so his numbers do not relate to the National League hitters. But if he stays on his schedule through 105 pitches, he is dynamite. 0-1. Little roller on the chalk, fair ball, and with the out, Kendrick advances to second. So one away. Yasmani Grandal has struck out twice. That slider that dives so much like a splitter has given him a bad time. Second time the Dodgers have gotten a runner to second base. The other time is when Gonzalez doubled with 2 out in the 4th. So after getting Grandal down around the knees, Gray starts him up with a fastball. Sonny has only made 73 pitches with 1 out in the 7th inning. Most pitches in an inning, 15. Breaking ball that dips in. Grandal thinks it was high. Not a sound, but a head shake from Mattingly. Talking about number of pitches, Gray's high is 119. He's got a long way. One and two. Grandal, 14 home runs, 37 runs batted in. That usual stance, left hand on the right shoulder, pointing the bat out. And slaps one, caught it short by Semien. No chance to make a play on Kendrick. So Grandal lines out to short, 2 down. And the batter will be Yasiel Puig. Looked like it had a chance, but the ball was not hit nearly as hard as it looked at first glance. So 2 out, and Yasiel Puig, the batter. On deck, Andre Ethier. Bottom of the 7th, 2-0 Oakland. And starts him with a strike. 0-1. Sonny Gray, 26 years old come November. 5'11", 200-pounder. A first-round pick and pitching like one. Yasiel with 22 runs batted in and 6 home runs. No balls and 1 strike. Oh, and 2. Pretty sure that was the slider. That is some pitch. Slider that seems to look like a splitter. Brewers are leading the Giants 4-0, 7th inning. Willie Peralta against Matt Cain in that one. 1-2. 7 strikeouts and 1 walk, along with 2 hits. John Valentin talking to Jimmy Rollins. 1-2. Got him. And went to the fastball and just threw it by him. So that's 8 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. And boy, he really challenged Puig. Fastball, here, you try to hit it. And he threw it right by him. No runs, 1 hit, a man left at the end of 7. 2-0 Oakland. Here's Gray. The Athletics leading 2-0 behind Sonny Gray. Billy Burns led off with a base hit and scored a run in the first inning. Josh Reddick doubled, got the third, and stayed there. He also had a base hit. And then finally in the 7th inning, Josh hit a home run. Sonny Gray, meanwhile, has been absolutely brilliant. 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no runs, and 8 strikeouts. I said no walks, 1 walk to Ethier in the 5th inning. Sonny Gray has also made 80 pitches in 7 innings, and Pedro Baez will pick up now for Brett Anderson. Anderson pitched very well. He got 14 ground balls, gave up a first inning run on a single and a walk, and then the other run, a 1-out bases empty home run, 7th inning by Josh Reddick. So here's Sonny Gray, and a strike. The A's are very average in a lot of areas. They're in last place, but they're average in the American League, several rather important categories. They're very average in runs per game. They're very average in total bases. Bob Melvin's club is very average in walks. They don't hit home runs. They did hit 1. They take a lot of called strikes. Bob Melvin, for one reason or another, his team does not swing at a 2-0 pitch. They're 15th in the league. That's way below the average. 2-1. Ground ball inside first, down the line. Gray is to first base, and he'll hold with a single. So Sonny Gray had only 2 at-bats in the big league, struck out twice tonight, and now, don't you know, gets himself his first major league hit. They get the ball from the umpires, and that'll wind up in his locker. Jesse Chavez who is going to pitch tomorrow night, got that ball and took care of it. So Gray, a single to right field. So now let's see what Burns does. Single, grounded out, flied out. Remember, he is a first ball hitter. Fouled away. Boy, he is no secret. He is a really aggressive hitter. The paid attendance tonight, 50,182. 50,182, and they're seeing exactly the kind of a game you imagine going in. Low scoring and a one-run game perhaps. 0-1 to Burns. Burns hitting .305. 0-2. Burns, as we mentioned, as aggressive as he is, he's only walked 13 times. You can understand that because he's a first ball hitter. But he's only struck out 43 times. Baez on him on the ropes now. 0-2. And a meeting. A couple of other notes about Oakland collectively. They do not score runs in the first 6 innings. Well, tonight they got a run in the very first inning and then lived up to it. Finally got their second run in the 7th inning. Interesting, some of the trademarks of a ball club. But as we told you, when they are ahead after 3 innings, they are 22-10. And they're ahead right now 2-0 in the 8th. All right, 0-2 to Billy Burns. Ball 1. Whatever reason, the A's have had a lot of base runners during the first half of the year because of opposition errors. Way above the average. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Slap foul. So it's a tough at bat. 9 pitches. This will be number 10. Waiting on deck, Mark Semien, who has a walk and a single. 2-2. And got him. So Burns pulling off the pitch, and it nailed him for an out. So 1 out. A reminder, follow the Dodgers all year with MLB.com at bat. That's the #1 app for live baseball. It's up to the moment, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, etc. So get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Well, here's Marcus Semien, walk, fly to right, single to left, and was out on a very close play, trying to steal third. Ball 1. Semien hitting .250. High fly ball, shallow right. Kendrick out, Puig in. It's Puig. So 2 down, and the batter will be Brett Lowry. when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of his 8th inning. It'll be Ethier, Callaspo, and Rollins. Lowry hit into a force play, fly deep to center, and tapped out in front of the plate. Joel Peralta begins to throw in the Dodger bullpen. And ball 1. That's in there. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brett. Lowry from Langley, British Columbia. Lives over in Peoria. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. Lowry's hit 11 home runs twice for the Blue Jays. His high 12 for the Blue Jays. He has 8 home runs so far this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Off the plate. Just thinking, looking at Brett Lowry and those heavy tattoos on both arms. I was reading a note the other day. One of the most successful procedures and one of the most surgical procedures going on, the removal of tattoos. 2-2. Got him. Fastball up and in at 98. Whoa. So 2 strikeouts for Baez. No runs, a hit, a man left. And at the end of 7.5, 2-0 Oakland. Tomorrow night, Clayton Kershaw up against the boy from Victorville. That would be Jesse Chavez, who went to Riverside Community College and lives in Riverside now. So Jesse 5-10, and remember Kershaw has a string of 29 consecutive scoreless innings, so that will add a little spice to tomorrow night. But tonight's the night. It's 2-0 in favor of Oakland. Ike Davis has now taken over at first base for Billy Butler. So Davis will give the infielders a large target Billy Butler back in the dugout. So Andre Ethier grounded out and walked 0 for 1. The ninth inning, it means Davis, Smolinski, and Reddick will be coming up. But we're in the bottom of the 8th. Interesting situation for Oakland. When you look at the staff and you look for saves, you see that Jesse Chavez, who's going to pitch tomorrow night, has a save. Drew Pomeranz also has a save, and that's it. And why? As Jesse looks on, last year's closer, Sean Doolittle, has only worked 1 inning this year, injured. Last year, Doolittle was incredible. 89 strikeouts to 8 walks. And you say, well, who was the closer this year? Tyler Clippard was the closer, but he was traded to the Mets, and he just finished out Noah Syndergaard's gem in New York tonight as a closer for the Mets. So for the Oakland A's, you could say, at least for the moment, no closer. It's up to Sonny Gray. In the Dodger bullpen, Yimi Garcia, since the pitcher spot, is due up 4th in the inning. Brewers are leading the Giants 5-0, bottom of the 7th inning. Willie Peralta for Milwaukee. Matt Cain started that game for San Francisco. 2-1 to count to Andre Ethier. Fouled away. Ethier tonight grounded and walked. Tried to go on a hit and run play. Callaspo missed the pitch at the plate, and Andre was out by a lot. 2-2. Fouled away. So Gray in the 8th inning has made 85 pitches, and he's still throwing 94. Big night for him. Callaspo on deck. Gray having picked up his first major league hit. Now trying to go the distance and come up with a shutout. He already has 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. So Ethier followed by Callaspo and then Rollins. Jimmy Rollins, those eyes riveted on the pitcher. Rollins tonight has popped up and flied to right. Line drive, speared, and what a difference. You have a 6'4" first baseman taking over for Billy Butler, and that's the difference. So Billy Butler sits down. Ike Davis comes in and immediately takes a base hit away. There's only 3 inches difference between Butler and Davis, but Davis is rather long and lean, and Butler at 6'1" is checked in at 240. So they make the move, and look at Ethier. Get it out, son. 1 away. And a strike. 2-0 Oakland. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Little insight into what's been going on between hitter and pitcher. Coming into this inning, that would mean in 7 innings, the Dodger hitters had been able to foul off only 11 pitches. And Ethier in his at-bat fouled off 3, and then furious when he lost a possible double. 1-1. High fastball, 1-2. Giants got a run. They're still hitting in the 7th inning. The Brewers are leading 5-1. Remember, a half a game difference between the first place Dodgers and the second place Giants. 2-2. Sonny Gray now up to 91 pitches. Knowing throwing in the bullpen. Two balls, two strikes. Last few pitches have been up. He's done a great job throwing that slider, which acts like a splitter, which winds up down and dirty. 3-2. Ground ball to Sogard. 2 down. The Jimmy Rollins will be coming up. Garcia down in the bullpen was joined by J.P. Howell. When you look, Ike Davis will start it off. Then Smolensky and Reddick. Reddick, a left-hand batter. Ike Davis is a left-hand batter. So the chances are pretty good. J.P. Howell will come in. But we'll see. There's Big Ike. Paul Crawford comes in the on-deck circle, but there's another ground ball to Eric Sogard. And that's that. So the big play, that leaping one-hand catch by Ike Davis of the bullet off the bat of Ethier. And we have 8 innings in the books. 2-0 Oakland. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Flex Alert. This summer, the power is in your hands. FlexAlert.org. 9th inning with Oakland leading the Dodgers 2-0. As we told you, the Dodgers had J.P. Howell and Garcia in the bullpen. Oakland has Davis, a left-hand hitter, leading off. The number 3 hitter's left-handed, Josh Reddick, and we expect to see J.P. Howell, but it's been Yimi Garcia, just called back Sunday from AAA Oklahoma City. So Garcia will be facing Ike Davis. Ike out of Minnesota, lives in Scottsdale. Went to Arizona State, played for Team USA in the World Cup back in '09. Ike was a first-round pick by the Mets in 2008. And a strike. when you talk to Ike Davis about himself and his family, it's rather interesting. Ike is Jewish, and his mom is Jewish. His father is Baptist. His mother's family is from Lithuania, and a significant portion was murdered in the Holocaust. And he has a great aunt, a Holocaust survivor. And down goes Ike. So we have one out here in the ninth inning, and the batter is Jake Smolinski. 3 ground balls, 0 for 3.
Left fielder number 5, Jake Smolinski.
So 3 of the last 4 hitters for Oakland have struck out. Burns, Lowry, and now Davis. And Smolinski has 3 ground balls. And a mile-high fly ball. Ethier to the track, right at the wall, makes the catch. So Smolinski just missed. 2 down. Josh Reddick coming up. Doubled in the 2nd inning, singled in the 4th, and then came up in the 7th inning and really capped one. So against Fred Anderson, Reddick hit it into the right field pavilion. So he's a triple from the cycle. Interesting about shutouts, the Dodgers have thrown 10 shutouts against the opposition at Dodger Stadium. The A's have thrown 8 shutouts at home against the opposition, and they're locked in one tonight. So Reddick 3 for 3. And lifts that one to left. Ethier. So a very quick 9th inning, 1-2-3. The Dodgers will have a hitter for Garcia, and then Peterson and Kendrick as we go to the bottom of the 9th, and so does Sonny Gray, leading 2-0. Has been absolutely brilliant, and the young man out of Smyrna, Tennessee, gave up a double to Gonzalez to break up a no-hitter. He had retired 11 in a row. Then he gave his only walk-up in the 5th inning and gave up his 2nd hit on a single to Howie Kendrick in the 7th. So now he'll face Claude Crawford coming up to bat for Garcia. Crawford, Peterson, and Kendrick. Bottom of the 9th, 2-0 in favor of Oakland. The only consolation for the Dodgers right now, the fact that the Giants are losing 5-1, 7th inning up north. So here's Crawford, been banged up a lot. Foul ball. Kyle Crawford has only been in 20 games. Oh, balls and 1 strike. Check swing. They're going to look. Swing, says Ron Kopa. 0-2 the count to Crawford. Take another look. There's the bum check. One and two. Sonny Gray now made 97 pitches. He's had 10 0-2 counts tonight. He's 1-2 right now. Crawford still there. They're now in the bottom of the 8th inning up north. Brewers 5, Giants 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just did get a little bit of that. Boy, that was a tough pitch. And for a fellow who's not been played much this year, it's pretty good to be able to fight that thing off. It looks so easy, but it's a quick break, tight break. 1-2. Got it on a low inside fastball. That would be the 8th strikeout for Sonny Gray. Down there. That's that slider. It doesn't have a big break. It's just a terrific splitter. .100 pitches. By the way, he has not let an 0-2 count get away. If he goes 0-2 on the hitters are 0 for 10. But Jock Peterson, he could write a book tonight about Sonny Gray. He has struck out 3 times. Remember, we told you Sonny Gray this year on the road is 7-1. Came in with an earned run average of 1.7 on the road. By the way, in rechecking, when Puig struck out in the 7th inning, that was strikeout number 8. So when Crawford strikes out here in the 9th, 9 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. And fouled away. Well, Gray now 104 pitches. His high 119. Peterson, I'm sure, trying to clear his head, trying to forget the fact that he has struck out all 3 times, and he's on the ropes here. No balls, 2 strikes. Kendrick on deck. High fly ball going out as Sogard and calling. So Peterson pops it up. He goes 0 for 4, and the Dodgers are down to their last out, and the person is Howie Kendrick. But remember, the Dodgers Sunday in New York were down 2-0, rallied, got 2 in the 9th to tie, and then Uribe beat them in the 10th. So they're down tonight at home 2-0. Howie Kendrick grounded out twice and singled to right. And a high strike. As far as shutouts are concerned, the Dodgers have been shut out only once at Dodger Stadium. They were shut out 6 times on the road. 0-1. Ground ball up the middle. So Howie Kendrick keeps the inning and the Dodger hopes alive, and it'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez.
Number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Adrian Gonzalez getting a standing ovation to encourage him. Not that he needs it. The pro hitting .298, 21 home runs, 60 runs batted in, robbed of a hit by Sogard in the first inning, doubled to right in the 4th, and grounded out in the 7th. See about this first pitch. And it's ball 1. Because most of the time tonight, Gray has gotten that first pitch for a strike. 24 of 29 hitters, he had a first pitch strike. But not now. 1 ball and no strikes. Melvin flashing signs to his catcher. Somebody begins to warm up in the A's bullpen. Edward Mujica. High fly ball into center, but it's playable. And the center fielder, Burns, makes the catch, and that's it. So Gonzalez, a fly ball. Dodgers leave Kendrick. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the A's. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Dodgers, and it's true. If the A's are leading after 3 innings, they're now 23-10. For Sonny Gray, he made 110 pitches. The player of the game, certainly the young lad from Smyrna, who will be 26 years old in November. He had a brilliant effort, striking out 9, walked 1, and was in strong control the entire night. He was as good or even better than we have been led to believe. Tomorrow night, it'll be Clayton Kershaw, Jesse Chavez. Talk to you then. Till then, for all of us, to all of you, good night, everybody.